Chapter 2. De-Obfuscation. As night fell, chimes dangled from fishing poles rung in the wind and guided Reyth's way toward Futhinkir through the total darkness engulfing Sangar. With but her lantern raised against the night, she was greeted with the shadows of boars, bears, wolves, eels, and kuns carved into the wooden poles. She'd grab the chimes, silencing them to listen for her next destination, ringing in the wind just beyond sight. She could hop the chimes all the way to Futhinkir, but at a place where the path skirted up against two forevergreens who'd grown together into an arch, she stopped to grasp for the rope strung around their trunks, which she'd trace home. Iyu, the sister skylight to the daylight Uyu, cast a silver light into the haze and over the clearing where her family's large caribou skin hovel sat amid more permanent fixtures, from racks of drying pelts to a brick kiln. A timber and clay-tiled shed stored most of their foodstuffs aside in case bears, neshers, or raiders got hungry. Opposite the shack, surrounded by a fence of sticks bound together with plant fibers, a garden for sweet potatoes during the thaw had frozen over. She was so eager to feel the heat and fill herself with rabbit stew, she almost didn't notice the figure standing in the darkness near the clearing's edge. Evren. It had been months since she'd seen him stand upright, but to wander outside, in the bitter cold, it was to tempt death. The boy could barely breathe, let alone stand. Evren leaned upon a walking stick, a thick fur blanket draped over his frail shoulders, his head tilted back towards the dark sky. Even in Iyu's dim light she could delve the deep shadows of gaunt cheeks. Getting closer, she made out his grinding breaths as they escaped fat purple lips. "Ev!" she repeated and grabbed his shoulders from behind. "It's too cold, you shouldn't be out here." He lifted a shaky hand from under the blanket and pointed towards the sky with strain. "Look." Above lurked an unusually dark sky, shaded silver by Iyu, the source, whose clear discus face she'd never seen so plain or focused, like a white eye leering into the land through thin breath. "Iyu?" she asked. "She's flat." No, look harder," Evren said. "See 'em? They're everywhere like fireflies." She closed both eyes to let them grow accustomed to the deep dark. "Ev, what are you gawking at?" "Cover Iyu with one hand," Evren said, covering an eye as if to demonstrate. "I think her light hides them." With one hand extended she blocked Iyu, and then she saw them. Tens of tiny, twinkling snowflakes floating on the breath at a vast distance from herself. Sangar's gasps. "What are they?" "Look there! I saw that too before. It flies." He pointed to another skylight chased by a sharp forked tail of bluish hue. It lurked far above the treetops, blazed across the thousands of unknown wisps, and even cut into Iyu's silver sheen, and burst in a teardrop of color as it made a slow exodus from horizon to horizon. "A monster," she uttered upon seeing this brilliant specter from beyond the breath. Her yew bow slid off her shoulder and into her hand, her fingertips teased for a moss rock arrow. Evren broke into soft laughter, joyful then dreadful as glee turned to gasps. Fear of the skylight became fear for her brother, and she pulled his small body into hers to fix him upright. "Sorry," he hissed, but despite his pain, despite his rattling breaths, he put the last of his effort to looking skyward once more. One last time for today. Reyth eased her hold to look him in the eyes and touch his thin red hair. "Let's get out the cold, silly boy." But when she tried to guide him, he resisted. She supposed she could let him savor the blue bow of light dipping behind the trees. Soon, a silver arc of dying light faded back into the faint smear of Iyu's focused eye. "I wonder," she pondered, "has Iyu shed a tear? Why, I wonder?" But Evren couldn't answer more than a few words, and he again doubled over, hacking, coughing, the sound deep and wet. Each shook his body. He gurgled and keeled over into the snow, clawing at his throat despite her best efforts to keep him up. Reyth threw her deerskin cloak over him and coddled him in her embrace. The wonder she shared with him became helplessness as her brother sat trembling in the cold night. Eventually, finally,
Evren's coughing relented. By then the color in Evra's cheeks was a berry blue, but at least his breathing became manageable enough for him to be taken inside.
In the light of the hearth, she brushed away his lurid strands of hair, stuck with snot and tears. He mumbled, too weak to speak. He tried to hide his hands under her cloak, but she saw what he deigned to hide. Blood coated his palms and strung his fingers, glittering green with flecks of the moss rock seed blooming deep inside him.